Bam. Bam. How are you tonight? How's things going? Ready to talk about real estate? Ready to talk about the Queen? Ready to talk about discrimination? Well, I hope so. Because that's what we're going to do. I don't know if you guys can find my stream tonight. I went to my own website, or I went to my own YouTube channel to look for it, and it was dicey. So I don't know if something's going on with YouTube, if I've done something wrong. I don't know what I would have done wrong. I don't know. Anyway, so hopefully you can find me. If you can, that's great. If not, I'll stream to no one. It's not like it's the first time that's ever happened. Boy, oh boy. You might be wondering, how did you stumble on this if you did? What is this about? Who am I? My name is John Schenk. I'm the founder and managing broker of Deerwood Realty in St. Louis, Missouri. We're a small residential firm. We mainly help buyers buy homes and sellers sell theirs. I have the Deerwood Realty live stream so that I can get in touch with all the people out there looking at the real estate news of the day and saying, is this true? Are you really seeing this in the marketplace? Is this really right? And I can tell you with great certainty, a lot of times, no, that's not at all what I'm seeing. Now, we have to understand that real estate is local. So like I said, I'm in St. Louis, Missouri. You could be in Florida. You could be in California. You could be in New York. You could be on the other side of the world. Obviously, things are going to be different there. But I like to talk about these things. And I like to talk about the real estate news of the day. I like to talk about pop culture news of the day. That always causes some interest. So yeah, and I don't really have the good hook that I need to keep you here for many, many hours, but let's just go with a couple things. Here's what you're going to see on the show tonight. We're going to talk about housing discrimination in New York City. Some brokerages got fined for that. We're going to talk about the Queen and her passing. I've been a critic of the Queen, but some people took it a little too far today. We'll go over that. We'll talk about an odd neighbor situation, and anything else that you guys want to talk about, you should put it in the chat. You can put it in the comments. I always look at all the comments, and sometimes they're kind of insulting. It's fine. If I touched a nerve with somebody, I apologize. I'm not that way. I don't try to go out of my way to stick my thumb in someone's eye, but I guess it happens. This is the internet. I don't have my camera set up perfectly right now. I don't know exactly what's going on from day to day. One of the things is I don't have my white balance adjusted properly, so I will work to get that done. The other thing is I need some front lights, but you have to understand I'm a bald fellow. And so if I put too many lights on the front, it's just going to be like right here. You can already see lights problems right here. So I don't want to go crazy with the lights because you're just going to see a lot more of it. In fact, on my forehead even, you can see like 2 lights right there. So that's something I need to work on. But, in the past week, we've got a new camera. We've got a new, backdrop. Now I really have to fix it. Let's go over here. See that hole? Let's see, right? Let me do this one. That hole right here, I like playing with this. And that hole up there are from the whiteboard. I need to fill that. Thinking about getting a picture. I don't know that it'll fix those 2 things because those are like metal. Like there's no stud right there. Those are just metal for the, I don't know. Whatever you think, just put it in the comments or put it in the chat. Now, I've been reading and watching and learning about the YouTubes. And one of the things I need to do is always try to say like, hey, if this is something that you would like, if this is the type of content you think you'd enjoy, you should go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And then it says you should leave like a like because that helps the video go forward. Now, I don't know what's going on. My last video, somehow, my last live stream 2 nights ago got 30 views. 30. For me, that's just unbelievable. Normally it's like 4. So I don't know what I did. I don't know if I touched a nerve or something, but I'll take it. Now we all know that like tonight, it's going to be hard to even find the feed. Now you can always find out if I'm going to live stream or not on Twitter. I do put that. I do put it on Twitter most of the time, if I remember. But tonight I'm kind of a little bit worried because, like I said, I didn't see the views that I've seen, like tonight. I didn't like, how am I going to find my own live stream? Like that's the issue that I have. Man, 31 views for the last live stream. That is just great. That is just great. So thank you for everyone who was watching that one. And please, like, continue to subscribe, continue to like the videos, continue to comment. And man, we might be able to get somewhere. We can only hope, right? Anyway, let me get off of this stuff because I don't want to confuse myself. So I lost my train of thought there. I apologize. So how are you today? I think that's an important question. I think we need to know how the audience is doing so that we can, kind of take it whatever direction we need to. Sometimes I'm a little, it's called read the room. Like right now, I think I'm the only one in the room, so I don't think it's a real big problem. But maybe in the future, maybe tonight, later on, maybe tomorrow, you're thinking about watching the live stream and the replay, and you're like, hey, I really am not in a good mood, and you didn't help. I apologize. Let me go over some of the things that I have for you. One, the day. So my wife needed to be in southeastern Missouri today. So I went with her. We went to Farmington, Bonne Terre, St. Genevieve. Those were the three places we mainly went. And then we had lunch at the Blue Owl, which is a restaurant in Imperial. I was driving, but business doesn't stop just because you're driving. And so throughout the day, I had phone calls and things to deal with. Were there any highlights? Well, I think one thing that I had that was a highlight is I've got a deal going on right now where everything's in pretty good shape. I'm representing the buyer. But what's fascinating to me is that they can't give me a clear to close because the date of the closing is too far out. Closing is late September, and they're like, we need to do a verification of employment, and so it's too far out. So I'm literally, everything's done. The appraisal's done. Everything's done. I'm literally waiting for a clear to close. Now, it's going to happen. But one of the odd things about this particular deal is the underwriter was asking for information about payments on a loan that weren't due yet. This deal's been hard on me. I knew it was going to be a little tricky the whole time. So it's not a surprise, but it's like every bit of this deal fights me every day. It's like, what are we going to do with this particular deal today? What stupid thing's going to happen that I have no control over today? And so I'm right there. So that kind of cast a cloud over the day. And then we had I had people calling. We were setting up showings for this weekend. Last weekend I had nothing. No one wanted to see any houses. It was Labor Day weekend, and there was just nothing going on. Monday I showed a house, or Tuesday. I actually think it was Tuesday, yeah. But I've been kind of quiet lately. This should all pick up again tomorrow now. I know I have one showing scheduled for tomorrow tomorrow evening, and I know I have another showing I need to schedule for this weekend. Both of the houses that we're going to see, there's good potential that somebody write an offer. But if the buyers don't feel comfortable, we won't. It's that simple. But I like to give you guys showing reports. This one that I'm going to go see tomorrow is a train wreck. I already know it, but maybe it'll surprise me. I don't know. So I think we need to talk about something that's special happened today that it's been a moment long in the making, and that is I got my 100th subscriber today. I know. Look, for most people, they say it takes, I think, 6 months to get 100 subscribers. It's taken me a year. part of it was my own fault. I opened the Deerwood Realty live stream channel on its own rather than stay with my current Deerwood Realty channel. That was bad. I've learned the error in my ways there. Part of it was just kind of learn what I was doing. But we got to 100. Now, my goal is not 100. My goal is like 1 million. But you gotta start somewhere, right? And 100 is better than 1. So if you, like I said, if you think you'd ever like this content, you should probably subscribe, and you should probably hit the notification bell, because I don't even know when I'm streaming most of the time. Yesterday I did not stream. And that was not good. It made me feel bad. For some reason, even though, like I said, I've not had a lot of success with streaming, I really, really like it. It's very challenging to me. Like tonight, I couldn't even find my own live stream. Like, that's not good, right? That's problematic. So how are you going to find it? It's like, this might be one of those we just don't do well on. So be it. I wanted to, now that I got the new lens, now that I got the set kind of where I want it, I'm going to do some work with the sound. I will be doing, I'll be getting an inline amplifier for the microphone, and I'm going to be getting a new, what do they call it, like a pop protector, one that covers the mic. Now, eventually we're going to go get a big boy microphone, okay? But the one I want is $500, and I don't want to spend $500 right now on it, although I could. The problem I'm running into is my computer is kind of like on the low end of what I need it to be. The advances in computing since I've built this last computer are just massive. But at the same time, I need to what do I need to do? I need to save my money, like in real estate for St. Louis, at least. The summertime up until about, I'd say October, I make my money. November, December, January, and February are just dead. If I get 1 or 2 sales, I mean, it's wonderful. And then the season starts again the following month. March, April, things start looking really good for me. But those like 4 months in there, I got to be very, very careful with how I spend my money. Also, all of your real estate dues are usually due in December, is actually in January, like right at the beginning of the month. So my realtor dues, my association dues. I'm a member of 3 associations: the St. Louis Association, the Jefferson County Association, which is called the Gateway Association at this point, and then there's the St. Charles Association. And I'm members of all 3 because I do business in all 3 counties. St. Louis City and St. Louis County are together in the realtor, that is the St. Louis Association. So that's not, you don't have to get 2 different ones there. But I just feel like if you're going to do business in particular areas, then you should have an association to it. I mean, that's just something I believe. Am I required to? No. But I just think it's the right thing to do. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Anyway, so where I plan to take the live stream next is I'm hoping to get some agents to live stream with me, like have them on, especially in areas that are considered hot in the United States. So like Miami, Austin, New York City, Los Angeles, San Diego, Denver. Those are places I'd really be interested in learning about and talking with other agents about how they succeed. I have a friend that lives in Los Angeles, and he's a real estate agent, but I don't know. I haven't talked to him in a number of years, but maybe I'll get him to be the first person on the stream, and then we'll just go from there. I think this can be something. I think we can have something. I've been kind of paying attention to the real estate scene here on YouTube, and I know how it's being done, and I think we can do something a little more interesting and a little more fun. But, I still have a ton of things to do, like in my current business. So it's hard to it's hard to like prioritize what the right thing is to do. I kind of want to play with you guys as far as like to do something. I'm going to go like, let's have some fun tonight. I don't know if this is going to work because I think let's play. You come with me. I mean, unless you're doing something really, really important and you can't. Let's go to here. Now I'm going to Dell. Now look, I'll probably build my own computer. I built this one. The one thing I run into that's problematic is like the Windows license, if you want to be totally honest. So anyway, so this is the Dell website. Let's just look and see what a computer costs at Dell right now, right this minute. Let me get to the right page. Okay, so I want a desktop. Okay. And I want, am I a creator in creativity? I think I am. These don't seem like the right kind. Alienware stuff looks cool. Part of me wants to play an Alienware. Let's go see what that is too. We can look at precision ones too. I don't know. You guys tell me. Put it in the chat what you want. Let's just go with a little create like this one here. I don't know which is going to be. You know, I haven't even looked at computers in a while. And if this is like killing my channel, then I apologize. But why not bring you along? You guys know more about everything than I do. Let's look at the XPS first. It said starting at, what happened here? It said starting at $749, and all of a sudden we're at $1,000. This is a Core what do I have? I think I have 32 gigs of memory and plenty of storage. I'm not worried about that. But this is a Core i7. Graphics card's got the Intel. I don't think that's going to work. I need something like this. So this is $2,500. And you know, like I literally make nothing streaming. Oh, here's your 740. I mean, I don't know, like so that's i5. So we're on i9 on our Intels, on our cores now. Let's look and see. This looks nice. It's Intel Core 9. Let's just see what it is. Okay. It's got the 5th generation Intel Core i9, which means there's 16 cores and 20 threads. Okay, well, that sounds good. The NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3070, it's 8 gigabytes with DDR6. That'd get the job done for me right now. This one here is faster, so we should get that, right? And the graphics card, we should get a better graphics card, right? So there's a TI card. That's $100. There's another TI card. 12 gigs. So at least you can get the cards, although these are ridiculous prices. I mean, look at that. But I'm at $3,600. Do I want liquid cooling? That sounds like fun. But yeah, I mean, anyway, so that's at $3,600. Let's look at this. I mean, let's be fair. That one was a Core i9. Here we go. Here's a Core i9. So like nothing here. Let's just sort by price, right? Highest price. Why not, right? $5,000 is a little bit much for me. Uh, this is funny. So what is this? A Xeon processor. Why am I doing Xeon processor? 4 cores, 8 threads. That's not very. I'm not even this. I don't even want this. We're going to Alienware. Why? Because it just makes sense to me. Why wouldn't you? I mean, why wouldn't you want? Let's look at highest price just for the hell of it. $4,000. That's not bad, right? But it's AMD. Here's an i9. Let's just see what this looks like, right? That looks cool, right? But I mean, again, I'm not that guy. Here's the side of it. It's pretty badass. Okay, so 16 cores. That seems like it'll get the job done. And 24 gig graphics card. I'm running a 2 gig graphic card right now, and it's got a 2 terabyte memory. And then like you don't have to customize it. It's just done. That's nice. But $3,700 for a computer is not nice for me. Not gonna work. So gotta be cool though. I want to build my own computer. I don't know why. I built this one and I did it. I stumbled and then I had a friend of mine fix it. So anyway, I'm not really a gamer. Let's go back here and stop that for the time being. Yeah. So here's the story of the night for me. So in college, I graduated high school in 1995 and I graduated college in 2001, I believe. I always thought it was 2000. Maybe it was 2000. I don't know. Back then they said that as soon as we hit 2000, everything was going to go to hell because the programs, all the computers used was for, till 1999. So it was going to just freak out at 2000. It ended up not happening. Forgot what they were calling it. I don't remember. There was a word for it. Anyway, in college, there's a guy named, I'm not going to tell people's names. I don't want to dox anyone. But anyway, one of my friends in college had Command and Conquer Red Alert 2. No, Command and Conquer Red Alert. And that was one of the first like strategy games you could play online, like with everyone in the world. And I got a new computer halfway through college that had 400, the chip was 400 MBs, I think. And it was just like, it was the fastest thing ever. Unfortunately, it had like a bug in it and it didn't work very well. We had to get it fixed like the first day. But anyway, all my friends would sit there and they would play Red Alert, Command and Conquer. And they were good. Like we learned how to do it so that we could be like top 10 in the United States, like with this game. But it didn't really do anything for us. Like that didn't help us. Like, great. Now that you've got this, this ability to play this game better than, 90% of the people, it didn't really. And it was like simple. Like you went and you built this one thing and then you got rid of another thing. And then you built 2 tanks and like 2 soldiers and you ran towards their place. That was the only way to win. If you were one of those who like lost to us and never could figure that out, I'm sorry, but it was common knowledge. We learned it from others. So anyway, look at how far it's come. I built this computer, I think in 2013. And before I started doing videos, before I started doing live streams and stuff like that, I never needed that powerful a computer. I didn't want to check I literally need to check the email. And like Maris, the MLS, it's all web based. Everything was moving web to web based, and so there was no need for me to have these higher, graphics or higher anything. Now that I'm doing live streams every night, now that I'm doing quite a few videos and things of that nature, it would really be nice to have some good equipment. And this is kind of the way I've always done things in business. Okay. The first question is can you feasibly get something out there? Okay. So like if I want to start, it's like, say I want to be a real estate broker. Okay. Can I get myself out there? Can I get it to where I'm functioning? Okay. And then, build up on it. The same thing with the live stream. So can I do a live stream? I didn't even know if I could talk for an hour. So now I know I can do a live stream. And then what is the minimum that first it was can you do a podcast? And so I did the podcast and I liked it. But the problem that I have with like the YouTube videos being very, very, I don't want to be very scripted. Like I don't like highly polished scripted videos. And as I was doing the podcast, as I was getting to where I wanted to be on the podcast, it was me writing out a big script, and some of the videos did well, but for the time that I was spending maybe an hour or two on the script. Then I had to record it, and then I had to upload it. And I have really fast internet, so that's not a problem. But 3 and 4 hours on a video for me, when I'm doing the real estate business all day long, it just didn't make much sense to me. Now, maybe to you, if you've got time, and you may say, well, John, it doesn't take you that long to really do what you were doing. No, it did. And even a live stream, like I don't know how long I'll go tonight. But I mean, I have to prepare for the live stream. I have to have information for you. I have to have done some research. And then when I get done with the live stream, it wears me out. I'm not somebody that talks a lot. And so I say that, but then I'm talking every night at a live stream. Anyway, you get the point. I'm really freaked out by this 30 views of my live stream yesterday. That is fantastic. I hope it's not like some sort of weird spam or something. Who knows? If you see like if my video is being replaced for crypto, then I apologize immediately. I'm going to check an email. No. So I think we can get into things. I'm sorry it's taken this long. I want to bring you along with me because it's like, by the way, my shirts are not fitting exactly the way they should. And I don't have the cameras and everything all set up exactly the way I want. It's not exactly. It's getting close. It's getting real close. But I have looked. What I wanted to say is, what I had forgotten is, some of this stuff does matter. Like the sound does matter. The sound of my voice does matter. The set does matter. The camera does matter. That camera, the way I had it set up before, it's the same camera, but the different lens. It had that terrible, terrible throbbing look to it. I couldn't stand it. And so, while we're only in 1080p, will we move to a different camera someday? Yeah, I think we will. It'll be a Sony because we have to stay with Sony now that we have the E-Mod lens. And I guess I could sell my camera and get a different one. But I literally just got the lens this week. I've never had 30 people watch my live stream. That was amazing. So, all in all, I feel pretty good. I'm pretty thankful. Yeah. So, like, I think I got everything off of Amazon. So I think on Wednesday of next week, I'll have the new microphone shoot. Like this here is like ugly. And I like the podcaster from Rode. It wasn't that expensive to start with. I know I need to do better. And the microphone I'm going to go for, it's the EV20. I mean, that's what my friends use in the business. And so that's what I'm going to use. So anyway, a couple things. As an announcement, hey, if you want to talk about real estate, like if you want to talk about news with me, come on the stream, and you're from a large city and you do business. I don't care if you're part of a Keller Williams or something like that. I won't hold that against you. But I don't like the shiny stuff. Like, don't come at me with, you've got a team of 40 people and you're very polished. It's not who I am, and I don't think it'll work very well. But let's go over some articles together. Let's talk about some real estate stuff that you're seeing in your town. I'll talk about my town, and we'll kind of get after it. Why not? It's late. And that's the other thing. From now on, I mean, when I got 30 views of the last live stream, and I think I started at 10:30, I'm not going back to early in the morning for a couple of reasons. One, it's quite possible I can show houses until 9 at night. That's the cutoff time in St. Louis for the lock boxes. So 9 o'clock, not unusual. So for me to get home, sometimes I'm an hour away. So, live stream at 10 is totally doable every night. Now, there's going to be nights where, I go out or with friends or something like that. Then I might do it a little earlier, but I think we found a time where, we can get some people in here to chat and have some good times. So that's what we'll do. Let's get into our popular culture article today. We knew it was going to happen. We knew that the Queen was going to pass away at some point in time. And if you've seen some of my stuff, you've seen maybe one of the shorts that I did about the Queen, and I don't feel bad about it. It was done with humor, and but I wanted to go over this because I think it'll help you know who I am a little more, and maybe you agree with me and maybe you don't, and that's okay. I just wanted to go through this. So it says, Carnegie Mellon professor wishes Queen Elizabeth excruciating pain as she finally dies. Now, I think I can't remember if it's my religion. I can't remember if it's my ethics. I can't remember if it was the way I raised, but we never wish someone dead. It's just below humanity to wish someone dead. Even the worst of the worst possible people in the world, we do not wish them dead. And I don't know why. Okay. I don't know why, but I know that we just don't. And I didn't wish this woman death, and I certainly don't wish anything like this. It says a professor at Carnegie Mellon University drew criticism on social media after wishing England's Queen Elizabeth excruciating pain hours before she died on Thursday. I heard the chief monarch of a thieving, raping, genocidal empire is finally dying. Carnegie Mellon University professor somebody tweeted on Thursday morning, may her pain be excruciating. So you can be unhappy with what the monarchy did in the past, right? I think you can be very critical. You can be critical of what the monarchy does now and the relevance of the monarchy especially, the people in the United States that follow this stuff and wish we could secretly have queens and kings. It's really weird and I don't like it. But there's like a time and a place. Like, you can criticize policies and not the person. I think as we've gone on with social media, it's become criticize the person, and not the policies. And there's also this idea of tone deaf, right? Like, you don't want to, I don't know. I think there's it's a timing issue, right? But this would be true with anyone. And I know that's weird. It doesn't matter if you're the Queen of England or you're just a regular guy. Like, there needs to be some level of respect for even the worst of the worst. I was thinking about it today. I was like, well, what about, bad people? Let's just leave it at that. What about bad people? Do you wish them dead? I don't wish them dead. When they die, do I feel bad? No. But again, there's something about it. It's very similar to me to, let's say you dated someone. Okay. and then you broke up with them, and then you just trash them all the time. And you say, well, that person was a terrible person and they did all these bad things. But like, you went out with them. You made the choice. You say, well, I didn't know this about him. I didn't know that about him. It doesn't matter. Like, just, you don't need to throw people under the bus, especially people that you were close with. This is my opinion. So anyway, it says the Twitter post came as reports began to circulate that the 96-year-old monarch's health was deteriorating and doctors were concerned about her condition. The tweet, which was retweeted and liked over 10,000 times on Twitter in just a few hours, prompted strong pushback from many users on Twitter. So a retweet is not an endorsement. There could have been 9,000 people that said, hey, man, this is not a good idea, or hey, woman, this is not a good idea. It could have been 1,000 people like, I'm so happy. There are people that don't like the monarchy, like a lot. And I don't blame them. I get it. But again, you don't, I mean, just, I wouldn't wish someone, I don't know. I think this play that this woman did is not new. Okay. It's not new. I've seen it on a lot of politicians get this treatment, and it's not good, like, for anybody, in my opinion. It says that sentiment is pure evil. Researcher Mike Galsworthy tweeted, please delete it as it benefits the world nothing. Well, now are we doing speech police? This woman putting this out there seems to have every right to do so, but she doesn't. I mean, if you look up here, it says they took down the tweet, but it was by Twitter. As far as Twitter benefiting the world on a lot of things, not so much. So that argument there, I'm not with it. It says, and then of course the standard play is to go after someone's employment. Hi, Carnegie Mellon, is this your professor? Young America's Foundation spokesperson Kara Zupkis tweeted. Okay, and then it says, who are you again? Blogger and former conservative member of British Parliament Louise Mensch tweeted, oh yeah, absolutely nobody trying to grift off a beloved woman people care about. Now, I'm not tonight trying to grift off of someone's passing. I don't think. My point in this is this particular tweet and how it doesn't seem like it was the right approach. It could be if anybody passed away, I would still be very uncomfortable with what happened. But again, do they have a right to do it? I think so. It says, this is what a complete lack of emotional intelligence and a heart full of hate looks like. British model Gemma Palmer tweeted, don't be like this woman, be a better human. I think that if you tweet something and it's terrible, right, then you open yourself up to criticism, which is completely normal. And whether or not you choose to accept the criticism is up to you. There'll probably be people saying it's a great idea that you did this. It says, now then it got interesting. Then Jeff Bezos comes in and says, this is someone supposedly working to make the world better. I don't think so. Wow. It says, Anya, listed as an associate professor of second language acquisition on the Carnegie Mellon website, did not immediately respond to a request for comment from Fox News Digital. And she's probably busy. It says, if anyone expects me to express anything but disdain for the monarch who supervised a government that sponsored the genocide that massacred and displaced half of my family, and the consequences of those alive today are still trying to overcome, you can keep wishing upon a star. So she dug in. The internet mob is coming after her, and she's like, okay. It says hours after the tweet was posted, Buckingham Palace announced Queen Elizabeth died. So it says Carnegie Mellon did not immediately respond to a request for comment from Fox News Digital, but posted a message on social media regarding the controversy. We do not condone the offensive and objectionable messages posted by this woman today on her personal social media account. The university posted on Twitter, free expression is core to the mission of higher education, however, and the views she shared absolutely do not represent the values of this institution nor the standards of discourse we seek to foster. Some people would say, well, you're condoning it by allowing her to be employed. Some people would say that. I don't particularly know where I stand on that. I had the old live stream, The Nature of Employment, and we talked about, jobs and kind of the morality behind them. And I mean, if you derive your fame and your social status from your job, then when you speak out, are you speaking on behalf of what gave you all the privilege in the first place, all of your status? Like this people, you notice how in the tweet they say, who is this? You're a nobody. You're a nobody. And this is like a hierarchy. The Queen is like pretty big time in Great Britain, right? Like when you look at the hierarchy, Queen beats associate professor. Not that it's right. Not what I'm saying. Is there a cultural element here, though? I mean, like I said, I was raised in such a way that we would not be happy. You should not express, pleasure that someone else has died, and you shouldn't wish evil on them. I'm trying to think of people in my life that I would really wish bad things on, and I can't. Now, there are bad people in the world. I have no doubt. There is evil in the world. But this particular case, if you're like my own life goes like this. If I'm prompted to say something untoward in a public setting like social media, maybe I should just keep my mouth shut. Like maybe it's not something I need to express to the world. I mean, like, let's be honest. You can't even find my live stream tonight. I don't know what happened, but it's like gone. And I'm not being. I don't think that there's anything untoward happening to me like on purpose tonight. But I'm sitting here trying to figure this out, and it's like it just isn't. You can say it, but it's just like. Like, think before you tweet. Think before you post pictures of yourself in compromising positions on social media. That's something that I think keeps coming back over and over and over again. So should we demonize this? I'm not going to demonize this woman. Honestly, after tonight, I'm never going to bring up her name again because why would I? The story's dead. It was almost like everyone was looking for someone to, they were like waiting for that one person to go out there and be like, hey, we're happy they're dead. I remember, let's talk about this as far as politics is concerned. John McCain, when he passed away, a lot of vitriol and hatred. Okay. Is George Bush still alive? There's always been this thing that Democrats always love a dead Republican. Like and if you look at the articles about the glowing work that the Republican did, if it was somebody that, anyway. I don't know. It's weird. trying to kind of figure this out. I don't know. Just tell me what you think. Put it in the chat, right? Put it in the chat. So let's move on. You know, I've been watching interest rates, and I've been trying to explain to you guys that like interest rates are really an issue right now. So we should look. And so we're on the Deerwood Realty page. What did we do? Now, you know, I want to be at 5.5% or less. Where are we at? By the way, I just want you to know I did tweet and I made an error. Like, see how I told everybody that I was tweeting tonight, or I was live streaming tonight, but then I got the two together. This was supposed to be on a different line. But what happened is I didn't have enough characters, and so I deleted it, and then I deleted one of my hashtags. I'm trying to figure out what this is. I'm going to have to talk to somebody because that isn't what I want. And they know better. Anyway, so where do we want to be? Anyway, we want to be at 5.5%. We're at 6.01%. We dropped 11 basis points from yesterday. We were up in the 6.2, 6.3s. Not good. Now, the way people measure interest rates or mortgage rates, on the government stuff, like, so the FHA 30-year, that goes daily here on Mortgage News Daily, but they use the weekly number for like an average. So you can see it went from 3.10 to 5.66. I mean, it's been that way for a while. So I don't really worry about that. I just look here, and we had the article, and it's real. We talked about United Wholesale Mortgage. I think that's UWM. I think that's them. Them and Quicken Loans, so the top two mortgage providers in the country, as far as from the brokerage side, are kind of keeping their rates low because banks can't come down and play with them. And so they're trying to take away market share from the banks. And so if you have good credit and you have to buy a house right now, it would seem, based on the articles we've read, that you might get a better deal at a broker right now than you would at a traditional bank. Now, I know many people who would prefer to just get a mortgage with the bank that they currently bank with, like, or if they got a credit union, they don't even care about the rate. They're just like, hey, these guys will do fine, and I'll just pay it when I go to the bank. Everything will be great. I've never been that way. But that doesn't mean that it's wrong. Okay. But just know that we're like above 6 right now. So how does this matter? Well, if you're a real estate agent and you're writing an offer right now, and it's got a loan contingency in it. Okay. You need to put like the terms 30-year fixed can't exceed, I'd say 6.5% on offer right now, and hope that it doesn't spike. I mean, you should lock in when you can and all this stuff, but that's where I'm at. Where are you at? If you're an agent, you tell me, put it in the chat, put it in the comments. I read the comments, by the way. I do. All of them. Let's get into our first story now. I don't know I haven't read the story. I try not to read things ahead because I kind of want to be interested in the article as much as you would be, having read it for the first time. But let's look at this. It says, the New York Attorney General finds 3 Long Island brokerages for racial discrimination. Keller Williams Greater Nassau, Keller Williams Realty Elite, and Laffey Real Estate penalized 3 years after a Newsday expose. Now, I think I saw the Newsday expose, and but it's been a long time, and so this is 3 years later. I don't feel that there's any place for discrimination in housing. I want to make that clear. I also feel like it's very easy to be trapped by government, what are they? NGOs. So the government, rather than try to enforce a housing policy, for instance, will pay like an NGO millions of dollars to train workers to go and find go root out the discrimination. And so that makes me concerned, because now we're coming at people not as normal everyday workers, not as everyday normal people, but we're on a mission to find this racism, and we're going to find this discrimination. And, all of a sudden now we're taking a blowtorch, because we've got millions behind us at real estate brokerages that may not also have millions to fight back with. So I don't really like the enforcement. I don't really like the way that I feel like it's entrapment. For instance, if someone calls me at 9:00, okay, like say somebody called me at 9:30 and they said, John, I want you to show me a house at this address within 10 minutes. Okay. I'm going to tell you no. I don't know you. I don't know if you're pre-approved, and it's not going to happen. Do you know why? Because real estate agents get murdered. I've covered it time and time again. Real estate agents get murdered at open houses. Real estate agents get murdered when they go show houses to people they don't know. And I'll tell you, my life is the most important thing to me. If you want to entrap me and say there's some sort of racist element to the fact that I'm not interested in showing you a house, and I don't even know you, and I don't know anything about you, in a weird time of the night, in a house that I don't even know what's going on with, you take your chances in life. Okay? Let's go through this now. And by the way, just to understand also the enforcement mechanisms. So like there's like the Attorney General's office, okay? I don't know if they're bringing suit on behalf of the fair housing. I don't know how that all works. Okay. So I don't know how that works, period. It says, after being accused of racial discrimination, 3 Long Island brokerages are to pay $115,000 in settlement with the New York State. Okay. It says, according to an announcement from the New York State Attorney General's office released on Tuesday, Keller Williams, Greater Nassau, Keller Williams Realty Elite, and Laffey Real Estate will pay the penalty as part of a settlement. The 3 brokerages were implicated for racial discrimination in a Newsday investigation in 2019. The New York office of the Attorney General opened an investigation into these brokerages and several others after the Newsday expose. Now, I don't know. Like, I don't know if the Attorney General of the state of New York if that's their lane, or if there's some sort of federal, I don't know. Anyway, it says efforts to discriminate against any New Yorker's fair access to housing cannot and will not be tolerated. These investigations have uncovered a pervasive culture of allowing unlawful discrimination and violations of every New Yorker's right to fair housing. These settlements should send a clear message. If you discriminate and deny New Yorkers their basic right to housing, we will take action. So, okay. What happened? Let's just find out. I don't know. It says, according to the release, the penalties will fund fair housing training for agents and the enforcement of fair housing laws in Suffolk and Nassau counties on Long Island. So this is the part that I get uncomfortable with, is this NGO. So now we're going to pay money to some other group to help enforce fair housing laws. And by the way, if they don't find any discrimination, they lose their funding. This is a problem to me. Maybe not to you. And as far as fair housing training, do you know how much fair housing training we get as real estate agents, as licensees, and in continuing ed? If that actually did something, if fair housing training actually did something, great. But it doesn't seem to be, if these people are still being hit with these violations. I mean, I like how everybody says, well, if we just conduct training, then it'll all be solved. It's like, well, no. If people are evil, if people do bad things, no amount of training is going to fix that. So Laffey will pay $30,000 to the state and $35,000 to Suffolk County to conduct unannounced fair housing training of any Laffey agent at any Laffey branch. Ooh, can you imagine? Like, you're going to go, say someone calls you and you know them and they're like, hey man, I'd like to see a house at 2 p.m. this afternoon. And you're in the office, which I don't know how many people are actually ever in a real estate office anymore. But say you are, and then someone walks in and says, as So-and-so gives me the power. You need to sit for fair housing training right now. You can't go show the house to your buyer. That would suck. Both Keller Williams franchise are required to pay $25,000 and spend $25,000 on fair housing training for its agents, according to the Attorney General's office. So what does this say? It says, look, if you're going to be racist, we say racist, but if we're going to be whatever they are, discriminating against races, if we're going to be discriminatory, it's going to cost you $65,000 and 3 years of your time, and probably hurting your brand image. I'm just saying. Maybe it's helping. Some people think there's no news like, bad news is there's no such thing as bad press. They say that. It says real estate professionals in New York State have an obligation to provide fair and equitable services to all. Robert J. Rodriguez, New York Secretary of State, said in a statement, I don't know what the Secretary of State does, like how that's different than the Attorney General. Anyway, housing discrimination is illegal. Yes, it is. And the department will not tolerate New Yorkers' rights being violated. This comprehensive fair housing settlement demonstrates that New York's leadership is making sure every New Yorker has access to equal housing, has equal access to housing. The penalties, because if it was equal housing across the board, it would be terrible. The penalties and agreements with these real estate companies educate their agents about housing laws to ensure New Yorkers, so they weren't ever educated? Discrimination uncovered by Newsday. Okay. All right. So let's find out what they did. It says the discriminatory practices were covered in a 2019 Newsday investigation. The publication found that numerous Long Island real estate agents tried to steer white property buyers away from minority neighborhoods and directed minorities into areas with fewer white residents. I think that's called steering. I don't know. As part of the investigation, actors went into real estate offices posing as prospective home buyers. So I don't have an office. I don't have a physical location. I've often wondered if I had a physical location, like an office, like I have office hours at my house, like by appointment. But I've always wondered, if I had an office, would I have more business? It says, Deanne Layden, a manager at Laffey Real Estate in Great Neck, was captured on hidden camera steering an actor posing as a Hispanic homebuyer away from wider areas. Now, was the actor Hispanic? Because that would seem racist too, to me. What if it's a white actor posing a Hispanic? They're playing their role. I don't know. I'm reading the article. I don't know if it's true. Away from wider areas and lecturing him on viewing properties outside of his budget without any insight into his finances. Now that is racist. How, if you don't know what someone can afford, like myself, I've seen millionaires that are literally they look disheveled. Like Mark Zuckerberg, that guy, he's a billionaire and wears a gray t-shirt. So you never want to judge people by my dad. When he goes to buy a car, okay, he dresses like a bum. He thinks that gets him ahead. I mean, a bum in the metaphorical sense, because it wouldn't be the literal, because he's not dressing as a bum. I don't know. Anyway, I've never really liked that whole literally and figuratively. It's always been confusing, or people use it wrong. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So that's not nice. That's just not a nice thing to do. And then on the other hand, in Layden's interactions with a white actor, she was seen not offering any of the same warnings on budgeting and guiding the buyers toward wider neighborhoods. Now, let me speak out, not in defense. I use price as my primary guidance for location because I don't want to be racist. Okay. Now, it's not for me. Like if I've had buyers say, well, is this a minority area? Okay. And I say, I don't know. because I don't know. I really don't. I don't look at the stats for places. I don't know if it's all white. I don't know if it's half. I don't know if anything about it. Sometimes people ask me like lifestyle, quote unquote lifestyles. I don't know if that's, I don't know what that's about. I don't know. Now, I will say location is very important to me when what we talked about last night. Look, if you're looking for a house for, say, $250,000, we need a location. Okay, we can't just say we want a $250,000 home in all of St. Louis. Good. I mean, that'd be ridiculous. Ridiculous. So I want you to give me a location. If you say, well, what areas are nice, or where do you think there's value for 250,000? I have some areas, but I don't know their racial components or ethnic components. So I guess I could get nabbed there. It says, oh, this is interesting. It says, do you want your kids to be in a school with kids that they relate to? She asked the white actor, according to the Attorney General's investigation. I don't even know what that means. I don't know what the question means. Is it like secret racism? Because, like, to me, no, this is controversial, I'm pretty sure. I think economics, the caste system in the United States is real. I think that's the worst kind of bigotry, hatred. I don't think it's racism. I think it's the goal to keep people down and to stomp on their throats. For instance, the green energy policies. I mean, if you're a poor person and you can hardly afford a car, in California, you can't even buy a gas-powered car. It would likely be cheaper in like 2035. You'd have to buy a new battery-powered car to save the environment. I think I don't care what color you are. That is vicious. That is vicious. Okay. Another Laffy broker asked a black actor for proof that he'd been pre-approved for a mortgage before agreeing to show him any properties, a step she did not make any white actors take. That's the issue. That's the issue. I get that one. So I always like to have a pre-approval before I go show houses. Why? Because the market moves fast. If I don't have a pre-approval, how are we going to write an offer? You need to accept. Most of the time, you don't have to, but if you don't include a pre-approval with your offer, it's likely that your offer is not going to look as good as someone else's. And it says any white actors. I know this sounds crazy, but my business isn't such that I get like 15 people inquiring to buy a house every day. If I had like 15 people call me in a row and ask me different questions, I'd be very confused because that wouldn't happen. Like, it's never happened. So maybe she had an idea that things were a little bit off. Okay, so here we go. It says, over at the Keller Williams franchises, the investigated stated that agent Lee Ann Vickery of steering a black home buyer into the minority neighborhood of Brentwood while warning a white tester. That's what I'm saying. They have these testers that are paid to find racism and discrimination. And some people would say, well, if you're not discriminating, you have nothing to worry about. And I would say to you, then you're very naive if you think that that's the case. Let me get to it again. I'm sorry. It says, while warning a white tester to research gang violence in the neighborhood. This is also problematic. Okay. I get this. I'm trying to tell you what I'm seeing here. Okay. People ask me, like, what do you think of the crime rate in this part of town? Okay. And I say, I don't know. And the reason why I don't know, and this is true. I don't know because, like, crime statistics can be reported in such a way to make it look very, very bad. And make it look like there's crime happening every day. Maybe there is crime happening every day. Okay. But maybe just on a map, it looks a little bit like disjointed. So for instance, say if you have this map and it plots like murders, okay? All right. And then the time frame of the map is 3 years, okay? Well, you're going to see more murders than if it was just 6 months. And as an example, I live in Afton, Missouri, which is an unincorporated part of South St. Louis County. There's a Walmart in Shrewsbury. If you look on the map, Shrewsbury is like this spot is glowing red. Well, why is that? Walmart prosecutes shoplifters, my understanding. At least I see police officers there often taking people out in handcuffs. I can only assume that's. And I know there was a murder that happened behind the Walmart a couple of years ago. 2 homeless people got into a fight and one ended up dead. Do I fear for my safety when I go to Walmart in Shrewsbury? No, not any more than I would fear for my safety anywhere else. So I'm very uncomfortable with that line of question. Is it safe here? I will, like, if someone asked me, I would say, well, there's, places you can look that up. But that's kind of how I would handle it. As far as steering people, I don't have any interest in, I don't know where people want to, I mean, people have to tell me where they want to live. I can't, I'm not going to be living in their house. There are things that I'll say, like if you're going to live in a certain place, you might want to have a garage. Why? Because there's a lot of car thefts that are being reported on the news. Now, I don't think there's any racial component to that because it's quite possible the thieves are, not a minority. I don't know. Okay, so that was not good. As a result of the Newsday investigation, okay, this makes more sense. Vickery and 22 other agents were sued by the New York Department of State. After initially winning her case, she ended up having a real estate license suspended for 30 days after the state won on an appeal. 30 days. The majority of the brokers named in the investigation have not admitted any wrongdoing. When asked to appear at a New York State Senate hearing in 2019, only one of the 68 agents agreed to appear. In addition, the Keller Williams branches have strongly denied that they ever steered anyone away from a certain neighborhood based on their race. Keller Williams Greater Nassau, Keller Williams Realty Elite, and Laffey Real Estate had not returned requests for comment by the time of the population. Well, that's the other part of America that's a little dicey. So these brokerages have been dragged through the mud, rightly or wrongly. I mean, what good is it for them to prolong a complaint by a government entity? How are they ever going to get away from the government entity? The government just continues. They have an unlimited supply of money and time. Business has to make some sort of profit at some point in time or they go out of business. I don't, like I said, I don't condone this behavior. I think we should always try to be human. If that makes any sense. Human first. What's the best for my client? Yeah. So I think I'm gonna drop that article, and we're gonna move on to a very interesting thing. Now, look, I love the concept of neighbor relations. It's to me, I live in the suburbs, and it's like I've lived in the suburbs much of my life, but not all of my life. And I mean, I would say in some ways it's magical. When you have a good neighbor, I mean, the quality of your life improves so much. Consequently, or conversely, I'm sorry, when you have a bad neighbor, your quality of life goes down significantly. And it's fascinating. In theory, we should not let others have so much power over us, right? But yet the neighbor thing is a big deal. An interesting question to ask yourself: would you treat your neighbor better than you treat your employer? I don't know. Okay. This is a Dear Abby. I thought it was somebody else. They were doing Dear something else. But anyway, kind neighbor has become de facto lawn service. Okay. So I'm going to tell you how I would answer this after we see how she would answer it. Dear Abby, a year and a half ago, a newly married young couple moved into a house down the street. A few weeks after they moved in, my husband, my daughter, and I went over with a gift to introduce ourselves and welcome them. Now, that is the number one neighborly duty. Like, you did good. Gold star neighbor. They were super friendly. My husband told them if they needed anything to let us know. Shortly afterward, the husband contacted my husband and said, since they were newly married, they couldn't afford a lawnmower and asked if they could borrow ours. Of course was our answer. Now, I call BS on this. Why? Let's have some fun, right? Let me get to the right window. Where are we buying a lawnmower? Go to Home Depot. Okay. Now I hope it doesn't give my address or anything. Okay. 63139. We'll go with that. Okay. Lawn. Sorry. Oh, I can't type. Lawnmower. So I want to buy a lawnmower. Shop all. Okay. And because I don't have a lot of money, I'm going to sort by price. Sorry, it's kind of delayed. And I'm going to go low to high. Okay. And that's not good. Didn't show me anything. I'll go to Lowe's if I have to. Okay. So the most expensive or the cheapest lawnmower, $79. But that's a push more, and they're good for the environment apparently, but anyway, let's keep going. What's the cheapest? The cheapest motorized, look, the battery ones now, look at that. A Sunjoe, $113. Battery powered walk behind lawnmower. So, if you care about the environment, right, you do that. Let's see, what's the most expensive, what's the cheapest gas mower you can buy? See, but this isn't doing it right. Oh yeah, it is. It took a minute. This is a walk behind real mower with grass catcher. Okay, here you go. Power Smart. Really? That's expensive. 21-inch, 170cc gas 2-in-1 walk behind push mower, $230. But see, that shouldn't be, because see how this is. See, that's $230, and then this is $221. So what's going on here? Low to high. I don't know. It seems like it's cheating on us, right? But you can see it too. Okay. So anyway, the cheapest one now, Yard Force, 20-inch, $221. Okay. So that's for a new lawnmower. Okay. Like I myself, I know a guy that sells used lawnmowers for about $100 with an engine. So I'm calling BS on this. Okay. It says, I can't pause that video, so we're just going to keep going. So it's a year and a half later. They still borrow more along with other items like a leaf blower or a weed whacker. They often go on week-long or weekend trips to expensive places. While they're gone, they sometimes ask my husband to mow their yard for them, which he does. This is odd. They're always grateful. However, I'm to the point where enough is enough. It doesn't feel neighborly anymore. It feels like we're being taken advantage of. How do we politely say you need to get your priorities straight, quit going on trips, and buy yourself a mower? Happy to help to a point. Now, full disclosure, I like cutting the grass. If my neighbor doesn't cut their grass in a timely manner, I'll just go cut it. I'll do it. I'll enjoy it. When our neighbor goes on vacation, I cut the grass. My neighbor hates to cut his grass. Absolutely hates it. Hates yard work. And I don't. And so I help. My neighbor is very nice to me, though. If I ever need anything, they'd be the first right there. I have no question. They have been in the past. So in that case, I think we've got a good thing. But I feel like I have experience with it. One of my neighbors, who's a good friend, not just a neighbor, asked to borrow my lawnmower, and I had a very nice lawnmower, and it had a very expensive engine on it because I had replaced the engine with a better one. And he went to use it, and something locked up, and the thing was it just blew smoke everywhere. And he was like, "Oh my God, I just blew up your lawnmower. I'm so sorry." And I was like, there was just something wrong about that lawnmower. It wasn't right. So, I threw away the engine and I just got a different lawnmower. Maybe I was trying to get a different lawnmower at the time. I've got the lawnmower that I want, and I'll never get rid of it. If someone asked to use it, would I let them? Yes. In fact, I feel like I've got this one. When I was a kid, my lawnmower died, and my dad was out of town, and I had a neighbor friend down the street that gave me his lawnmower. His lawnmower was terrible, but he was like, "Hey man, I get it. You need to cut the grass, and here you go." That's just the way it is in the neighborhood I live in. Always cutting the grass, and happy to do so for others. I also think, I think that young people who may have never lived in a neighborhood, don't know how to live in a neighborhood, look for guidance, but maybe they don't care that much about the neighborhood thing. As an example, I have a friend who moved into a neighborhood, and he's like, "Man, there's something screwy here. Every time I go to cut my grass, immediately my neighbor comes out on the other side and cuts his grass, and so does the neighbor on the other side." And I was like, well, that's kind of normal. See, what happens is everybody kind of wants their grass to look the same. They don't want grass too high on one property and too low on the other. So they're actually doing it to try and help out. I don't know if he believed it, and I don't know if you believe it, but that's kind of just the way if my neighbor cuts, first of all, I cut my grass every weekend. Although I say that, and this is going to be the third weekend in a row that I haven't cut my grass because it's rained on Saturday and Sunday. And, I show houses. I'm not always home. I don't know. So what does Abby says? It says, in the interest of neighborhood harmony, refrain from giving this couple travel advice or directing them to straighten their priorities. Absolutely. Absolutely. See, what you're doing there is you're expanding your argument. It's not for you to tell them how they should live. This is my thought. This is my thought as well. It says the next time they ask to borrow your equipment, simply tell them no, because you need to use it. Now, someone said, "Hey man, this is like the 18th time I want to borrow your lawnmower this year." By the way, I had one time, I had surgery. Okay. My neighbor doesn't like cutting the grass, hates yard work. My neighbor, I can count on I've lived in the same house since 2007. I can count on my hands the number of times he's cut the grass at his home. Okay. Normally he has a kid do it. I was injured though. I couldn't do anything. My neighbor cut my grass. That's a good neighbor. That's a good neighbor. Anyway, the next time they ask you to borrow your equipment, just simply tell them no, because you need to use it. So if someone were to say "Hey, can I borrow your Morgan?" I'd be like, "Seriously, dude? Seriously, dude." That's what I would say. Now, that might start an argument. Can I Maybe this is just me. You know what I would do? Like, I literally, if someone were like this annoying to me, I'd literally go to the hardware. Well, I wouldn't go to the hardware store. I would go to my guy, the friend of a friend that fixes lawnmowers and sells them secondhand lawn. I'd literally go buy one for $100, and I would go I would go deliver it to my neighbor and say, "Here you go. You're welcome." Problem solved. Problem solved. No need to fight. It's not. And you say, well, John, you shouldn't spend $100 on your neighbor. What's it worth? I mean, I don't have to deal with this anymore. Now you could say, well, what if the neighbor doesn't take care of the more that you bought for them? It's not your problem. They're not going to ask you again. Because how are they going to do this? It says, then mention the name of a home and garden store where they can buy what they need at a reasonable price. Same goes for mowing their lawn while they're traveling. After a few refusals, they'll get the idea. This seems a little bit confrontational to me. I'm not that confrontational in this particular arena. Well, I feel like I've got better advice than the advice giver. Now you could say, no, fair enough, John, it's hindsight, it's 2020. This person had to write this article. You don't. Just so you know, I know the color balance is off. I know I look a little blue. And believe it or not, in my screen on my camera, it's really clear and looks exactly the way I want it. The screen on my computer, little blue. I don't know if I'm going to get a warm light to shoot in front of me on either side. I don't have a lot of desk space. I'm not flush with space. I have plenty of power though. I have a dedicated line to come to this particular socket. Anyway, well, I hope you've had a good night. You know, I really do. I feel like we've learned a lot. What did we learn? Well, don't discriminate against people in the real estate brokerage. That's never a good plan for good business. Don't do that. Lawnmowers don't cost that much money, I think, is something that we learned. And if someone dies, try not to go out of your way to wish them an excruciating death. Seems reasonable. With that, I'm going to head on out. Thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button so I can get to 101 or 102 subscribers. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.